These shocking details behind one of social media's most devastating divorces have left millions of followers reeling. Desmond Scott, one half of the powerhouse couple known as the Scotts, got caught on camera kissing another woman just days after publicly acknowledging his divorce from wife Christy Sarah. The timing has everyone asking explosive questions about infidelity, betrayal, and the very foundation of their 11-year marriage. You've probably seen the headlines if you follow social media drama. What you might not know is just how deep this rabbit hole goes, and how a couple that built an empire on family values and marital bliss could implode so spectacularly in front of millions of viewers. This isn't just another influencer breakup. This is the complete unraveling of a brand, a business, and a love story that started when they were just 14 years old. Let me take you back to the beginning, because understanding how high they climbed makes their fall even more dramatic. Desmond Scott and Christy Sarah met as teenagers, literally at 14 years old. Picture that for a moment. Most of us worried about homework and acne at that age, but these two found what they thought was their forever person. They dated through their teens, got married in 2014, and immediately began building something that would make them millionaires. The Scotts became a social media phenomenon by documenting what appeared to be the perfect life. Family chaos, design and renovation projects, elaborate pranks, they had it all. Their warm domestic aesthetic made them fixtures on everyone's feeds. They weren't just posting random content, they were selling a dream. The dream that true love exists, that you can build a business with your soulmate, and that happily ever after is actually possible in the real world. People bought into it hard. They converted millions of followers into a legitimate business empire, including a production company called Meant to Be Films that specialized in wedding videography and storytelling. The irony there is almost too perfect. They were literally helping other couples capture their perfect wedding days while their own marriage was secretly falling apart. They have 2 sons together, and for over a decade, they presented this picture-perfect family unit that made their followers believe in love again. Just last year, in 2024, they celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary with what was described as an elegant and timeless celebration. Desmond was in full creative mode, curating a special menu for the occasion. The event featured rare public footage of their family members and close friends together, and everything looked absolutely perfect. But behind the cameras, cracks were already forming. According to the timeline that's emerged, Desmond acknowledges that marital challenges began in late 2025. He admitted that during this period, he expressed a desire to separate from Christy. But here's where the story takes a dark turn that has social media detectives working overtime. On December 30th, 2025, Christy filed for divorce from Desmond in Harris County, Texas. This wasn't a quiet, amicable split. The divorce petition cited irreconcilable differences, but more explosively, it alleged infidelity as the primary reason for the split. Christy stated that the infidelity completely wiped out any reasonable chance of reconciliation. Those are strong words. That's not the language of someone who's sad about growing apart or having different life goals. That's the language of someone who feels completely betrayed. For about 10 days, this remained private legal business. Their followers had no idea that behind the scenes, one of social media's golden couples was imploding. Christy's last public post featuring Desmond was in early December 2025. And looking back, fans are now analyzing every detail of that content for signs they might have missed. Then, on January 10th, 2026, Desmond broke his silence with a public statement that sent shockwaves through their fanbase. He acknowledged making choices that I am not proud of and confirmed that he and Christy had decided to divorce. On December 30th, 2025, Christy filed for divorce from Desmond in Harris County, Texas. This wasn't a quiet, amicable split. The divorce petition cited irreconcilable differences, but more explosively, it alleged infidelity as the primary reason for the split. Christy stated that the infidelity completely wiped out any reasonable chance of reconciliation. Those are strong words. That's not the language of someone who's sad about growing apart or having different life goals. That's the language of someone who feels completely betrayed. For about 10 days, this remained private legal business. Their followers had no idea that behind the scenes, one of social media's golden couples was imploding. Christy's last public post featuring Desmond was in early December 2025. And looking back, Fans are now analyzing every detail of that content for signs they might have missed. Then, on January 10th, 2026, Desmond broke his silence with a public statement that sent shockwaves through their fanbase. He acknowledged making choices that I am not proud of and confirmed that he and Christy had decided to divorce. He took responsibility for his actions and admitted they had been working to address their challenges, but ultimately couldn't make it work. His statement was carefully crafted, probably with legal advice, but it contained some key admissions. He apologized to Christy, their family, and their followers. He acknowledged that they'd been facing challenges for the past year. Most importantly, he admitted to making decisions he wasn't proud of and stated that he told Christy directly about his actions, leading to their mutual decision to divorce. If you think that was the end of the drama, you haven't been paying attention to how social media works in 2026. Approximately one day after Desmond's public acknowledgement of the divorce, footage emerged that changed everything. Video surfaced showing Desmond at a Houston bar, kissing and embracing a woman. Not just a quick peck, we're talking full embrace, passionate kissing, the kind of public display of affection that screams couple. The timing was absolutely explosive. Here's a man who just publicly admitted to infidelity, and within 24 hours, he's caught on camera being intimate with someone who clearly isn't his wife. The optics couldn't have been worse. Social media doesn't just capture moments, it investigates them. Online sleuths immediately got to work identifying the mystery woman, and they didn't take long. The woman was identified as Marissa Springer, though neither Desmond nor Christy has officially confirmed her identity or the nature of her relationship with Desmond. This is where the story becomes really murky because the timeline raises some serious questions. Was this kiss footage from before the divorce announcement? Was this the woman involved in the alleged infidelity that destroyed the marriage? Or was this a new relationship that started after Desmond and Christy decided to separate? The proximity of the video to the divorce announcement has led to intense speculation. If this relationship with Marissa Springer was ongoing during the marriage, it would confirm Christy's infidelity allegations. If it started after they decided to separate, it's still incredibly poor timing from a public relations standpoint, but it's not technically cheating. Here's what makes this even more complicated. Desmond admitted in his statement that he expressed a desire to separate in the latter half of 2025. So there's this gray area where they might have been emotionally or physically separated, but still legally married when this footage was taken. The fan reaction has been absolutely brutal. Remember, these people built their brand on family values and marital harmony. Their followers weren't just casual viewers, they were invested in the love story. They believed in Desmond and Christy's relationship, used it as relationship goals, and felt personally connected to their journey. The infidelity allegations have caused a massive divide among their followers. Some are expressing unwavering support for Christy, viewing her as the wronged woman who deserves better. Others are waiting for more details before forming an opinion, recognizing that social media relationships are often more complicated than they appear online. But perhaps the most interesting reaction is from fans who feel completely blindsided. These are people who watched their 10th anniversary celebration just a year ago, saw Desmond lovingly curating that special menu, witnessed what appeared to be genuine happiness, and now they're questioning everything they thought they knew about love and relationships. The business implications are staggering. When you build a brand around being the perfect couple, what happens when that couple implodes? Meant to be Films, their joint production company, exists in legal limbo. Who owns what? Who controls the social media accounts? How do you divide a business that was built on the foundation of your marriage? Looking at their recent content, you can see the shift happening in real time. Christy's posts have become what observers describe as lighter on couple content, heavier on self-narration. She's reinventing herself as an individual creator rather than half of a couple. Desmond, meanwhile, has been leaning into cooking content and fatherhood updates, trying to maintain his connection with followers while navigating this public nightmare. The legal proceedings are still ongoing, with custody, child support, and property division remaining unresolved. Reports suggest they have a marital property agreement that will address asset division, but with millions of dollars and a business empire at stake, this divorce is going to be complicated and expensive. Both parties have called for privacy, particularly regarding their children, which is understandable but also somewhat ironic given that their entire career was built on sharing their private lives with the public. What makes this story particularly tragic is the contrast with where they were just 1 year ago. That 10th anniversary celebration in 2024 wasn't just a party. It was a public declaration of their love and commitment. Desmond putting together that special menu, the elegant and timeless atmosphere, the rare footage of family and friends together, it all painted a picture of a couple who had made it through the challenges of young marriage and business building. Clearly, something fundamental shifted in 2025. Whether it was the pressure of maintaining their public image, the stress of running a business together, or simply the natural evolution of a relationship that started when they were children, something broke that couldn't be fixed. As of mid-January 2026, this story is still unfolding. Christy has notably remained silent about the details, choosing to let her divorce filing and legal team speak for her. Desmond's public acknowledgement was clearly calculated to get ahead of the story, but the emergence of the kiss footage suggests he didn't anticipate how quickly and thoroughly social media would dissect his every move. The broader questions this raises about social media relationships are fascinating and troubling. How much pressure does it put on a marriage when millions of people are invested in your love story? When your income depends on appearing happy together? How long can you maintain that facade when things start falling apart behind the scenes? The Scott divorce isn't just entertainment industry gossip. It's a cautionary tale about the intersection of love, business, and social media fame. It's a reminder that the perfect relationships we see online are often more complicated, more fragile, and more human than they appear in carefully curated posts and professionally produced content. For their millions of followers, this isn't just about two people getting divorced. It's about the collapse of something they believed in. Something that gave them hope that true love and business success and family happiness could all coexist. The fact that it started when they were 14 makes it even more devastating. If Desmond and Christy couldn't make it work, what hope do the rest of us have? The kiss footage of Desmond with Marissa Springer will likely be remembered as the moment that transformed this from a private family matter into a public scandal. Whether that relationship began before or after his marriage ended will probably determine how history judges this situation, but the damage to their brand and their legacy is already done. What remains to be seen is how both Desmond and Christy rebuild from here, how they co-parent their children in the public eye, and whether either of them can successfully transition from being half of the Scotts to being individual creators with their own distinct identities and brands.